Now, veteran actor Sello Maake Ka-Ncube joins us now in studio to tell us about the film and what we can expect from this international fusion of local and international talent. Sello, such a pleasure to have you in the studio this afternoon, especially at a time where people are planning for their Christmas lunch tomorrow.
I know. I mean, I shouldn't have done a Christmas movie.
You know? Let's speak about this film.
Yeah.
I mean, your career spans over decades, and very rarely have we seen you taking part in a Christmas-themed movie.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about what caught your curiosity about this role.
No, well, this is actually a sequel.
Okay.
To the first one was a royal surprise.
Yeah.
You know, when the son actually, surprised the family and brought an American girlfriend. And much to the chagrin of the old lady, because she had already arranged somebody that the son should get married to.
Oh, yes,
yes. So the first, movie dealt with that. And then now the second, the sequel now deals with the son and the girlfriend invite us to come to America to come and enjoy Christmas. And I mean, nobody enjoys Christmas like the West does. We have our own way. And I think we still have to do movies that actually, captures, our spirit of Christmas. I remember when I was growing up, Christmas meant like cross-dressing at times for older people. And people hopping from one house to the other going, happy, happy, happy too, bang happy. So, but, Americans have a very, lovely way, and love stories, rom-coms are actually, woven around Christmas. So, we found ourselves, with this involvement of an American actress, that they actually found a nice way to weave a Christmas theme into the movie. So now the parents now go to America for the engagement, of the couple. And boy, do whatever tempers fly between the matriarchs,
Look, I don't want to give out too much about what the storyline entails, but I quite liked what you said about this fusion of cultures, because like you say, with the different hemispheres, the West has got their own way of celebrating Christmas, while South Africa also has its own unique culture when it comes to how we celebrate Christmas.
Absolutely.
How do you think this is then portrayed onto the screen?
Well, because, I think at the moment, because it is more based in America, so we actually just, playing on the American theme of Christmas, and, somebody once said, black people are like Hoovers. We just take in everything. But anyway, I think what was also very interesting for me was how, just working with the American crew and working the American space, and things, they are a bit different. You actually find that there's a more, I think, established decorum, even around the film set, but also working with the two American, we worked with four, but mainly I worked with Tony and Trisha Grant,
Freeman, I also see.
Yes, and working with these two guys, they were just so, lovely to work with, and the exchange of ideas, and even trying to see if we can do other things outside the movie, there were all those possibilities, But it really was a lovely experience.
Let's speak about the shift, especially in South Africa, to these Christmas-themed movies. Because a lot of the time, especially during this time where people are preparing, or families are preparing to be together, there's often a fight around what to watch. And most of the options will be movies made abroad, as opposed to Christmas-themed movies that are made here in South Africa. Do you think this then presents an opportunity for film producers as well?
And in fact, I think I've watched the thing on the on the streaming platforms, and there's a few South African movies made around around the Christmas theme, and I think we are getting slowly into that space of even though I think the one that I saw was it's actually an adaptation something, of an already made series. But we are gradually coming into a space where we are telling all these Christmas stories, but we still have to tell those stories that are really and strongly rooted in the South African, and I would say black theme, because there's South African white Christmas, that happens in the suburbs, and there is this Christmas that happens in the township. Even though one of the things that actually sort of like disturbed it a bit, and I remember, because we grew up in the 70s. And after 1976, Christmas was never the same.
Oh, yes.
In the township, because there would be those years. Especially even after 76, there was a Black Christmas, which means we never celebrated Christmas. And I think the whole flow of celebrating Christmas was really disturbed by, the struggle times. But I think remnants of it, and for those of us, I remember, I think in the 90s, and I remember just taking a drive, in the township and just seeing how people are, and it was almost, people getting back to how they used to celebrate Christmas. People will be hanging out in their yards, having a meal, having a drink, and having those that are constantly walking, from house to house, trying to get Christmas. And I think, one still has to kind of weave a nice story around that.
It's amazing that you say that, because like you say, it can be a Black Christmas, especially for those who are poor in this country. And let's spare a thought for them during this time as well.
Absolutely.
Give us your own reflections, call it that, especially during this time where, just a short while ago, we're having a conversation with psychologists around how a lonely time this can be for some. But it's also a time where the less fortunate find it to be a very difficult time.
Difficult time, and I think difficult in the sense that in fact, as I was driving, I found my mind going into a space where people didn't have. In fact, I live in Dubai, and I was passing ShopRite, and you see people, others holding, and meager sort of groceries, but usually when it is Christmas, you would expect people holding.
It's a time of abundance.
Of abundance and all that. And, my mind actually just drifted a bit towards that and say, hey, but somehow, I think the township has a way. The township has a way of masking all that. I used to say, even for me, I found that by maintaining to live in the township, even through hard times, I would never be seen that I'm going through hard times as an artist. Because, instead of having to go to a restaurant to go, or a cafe, to a coffee shop, I just go and, meet with the guys, buy myself a quarter, and, but the township has a way that, sort of like that kind of spirit actually sort of people sort of like it gets hidden in some way, because of the closeness of how people are living very closely amongst each other, and and also we are very noisy in our appreciation. So music will be played, and the dancing and the sharing is almost even there.
I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm very excited about this interview, and even when preparing for it, I thought a lot about your own career. Like I said in my intro, it spans over decades now.
4 decades.
4 decades. And I always get fascinated by getting into the minds of artists, really understanding what their preparation for a role is like. Take us through just a quick course of how you prepare for a role.
It has been a very interesting journey. I think when you start as an actor, your eyes are like, and you really want to do the serious stuff. But I think as you grow, you realize that the more you do things in a very simple way, that is where they are actually more attractive. It's not like really like you got to do complex things. And as they say, what is it? Well, they say less is more. And I remember, my first acting lesson that I got, it was at the age of 15.
Oh, wow.
And my Baba Mngane was an actor, Kenny Majosi. He worked with Gibson Kent, and he starred in Sikalo. And he gave me my first lesson as an actor, and he broke down the word actor. And he said, A stands for action, C stands for creativity, T stands for technique, O stands for observation, R stands for reaction. All these 5 things you use as an actor.
Sure.
And, you know, after having gone through the whole complex approach into acting, much later in life, when I go back to this lesson, you realize that the most important thing that an actor has got to learn, first and foremost, is observation. You have to observe life around you, and you have to observe life inside of you. Basically, you observe yourself, how you do things. You know, if you experience an emotion, you know, unlike, you know, an ordinary person would like, oh, I'm so angry. As an actor, you say, oh, so this is how I am when I'm angry. You know, and you almost like begin to create folders of your emotional experiences. Because now what you do as an actor, you actually kind of like replay, you know, and you've got to allow yourself to have a very strong sense of sense memory, that you remember sensations. So when you have to play anger, you know, and the body is very amenable, you know, and there, I mean, a whole complex thing that are there. Thought is in play, breathing is in play, and sometimes, you know, you can actually fool your body by changing your breath. You know, I mean, if, for instance, you know, you're supposed to cry, you know, and then go, and then the body begins to believe that you want to cry, and it eventually releases all the juices, and tears starts to fall.
That is completely fascinating. And feel free to send us an invoice for that quick lesson.
I will do so. I will do so.
I don't want to get into trouble with the bosses. But, you know, it's quite interesting what you're saying, because you touch on emotion as well. Are you finding that, because traditionally we know you to play very dramatic roles. Are you finding that now you've become more receptive to, call it, less serious and more humorous type of roles?
I guess, you know, sometimes you actually do what is on offer. You know, I mean, for instance, when one got Archie, you know, Archie's a serious guy, business, or whatever, you know. But, and I think, in fact, what happens is, like, somehow, it's like as you grow older, you know, I mean, when I started as Archie, I was playing the son. Now I'm in the position where I'm the father now, you know. And I think, you know, and age has a way of, I think, adorning you with a certain calm and approach and an understanding to life. And I remember you know, reading one book, and this actor, it's a British actor, John Gielgud, and he actually said it takes 25 years to make an actor. And basically, you know, as you grow and mature as a human, as a person, somehow, you know, even, you know, dealing and accessing things is much easier because you do things from a certain understanding. And whereas when you are young, you eager to do. You know, and whereas when you are older, and somehow I think it also has to do with growing, you know, with maturity. That you reach a certain age, your approach to life is actually now different from when you were younger.
A Royal Christmas Surprise. Is it out yet? And how can people...
It is out. It is. I think it's on DStv. It's going to be on Showmax. I mean, I can't, you know. But I think tomorrow it is going to be on DStv.
Okay.
Yes. Is it? No, not tomorrow. The 26th.
All right.
Boxing Day. It is going to be on DStv, and people enjoy it. And I would like to hear on social media what they think 100%. And say about it.
It would be amiss of me not to get a Christmas message that you have for South Africans as well during this time.
You know, during this time of Christmas, I think, you know, I always look at Christmas as a time to be reflective. The year has been a very difficult one, and we face difficulties in different ways in life. And I think, you know, sometimes instead of, you know, going haywire and going crazy, you know, I think it is important to just take the moment. And tomorrow it's, Christmas Day. And I remember growing up, Christmas Day, you will always go to church, and to go to church and reflect, and go and have that lunch and reflect over the year and start thinking on what you're going to do next year.
Sello, what an honor it's been to chat to you this afternoon.
Thank you.
As we wrap up our conversation with the incredibly talented Sello Maake Ka-Ncube, we are reminded of the excitement and cultural significance that a royal Christmas surprise brings to the holiday season.